Hi, it's Michelle from Movement Lesson. I just want to talk to you about that. I did start a new Facebook group. Many of you know, but don't know, I have a new book coming out, You Can't Get to Mars Without Me, The Rules of Gravity. It is 21 new rules of biological gravity that I'll be discussing on what gravity is to us as living beings, how we format gravity within our systems, and then when gravity fails us. A lot of people think that gravity is a pulling force. That's not how we use gravity, right? Gravity is a force that we interact with, but to interact with gravity, we oppose gravity using rotational movements, okay? Rotational movements, most people think of science is, again, rotating around an axis point. There are no linear parts of movement within the human body. What does that mean? At any point of movement, I can move around my system or within my system, but we are built for internal movement, and that is done with rotation. From the moment we are born, that is our first experience through natural childbirth, rotational movements, and this continues through all of our transitioning milestones. You might think of us standing, sitting, and walking, but to get in and out of any functional movement that keeps us alive and keeps us going, it has to be functional, is done as we oppose gravity. That is our organization, and we need to do so with rotational movements. Now, when we fail within the system, right, and that's where I come into play, Movement Lesson, we are now succumbing to gravity. Gravity now is pulling us down when we are unable to respond with a rotational movement. And that is the common denominator for all special needs, but that's also the common denominator for anyone that's traveling in outer space. There's no more rotational movement, right? So there's no more functional movements. The body succumbs very quickly. In a sense, it's being ripped apart because it's going into a womb-like establishment versus an oppositional gravity establishment. And I know people are going to say, but there's no gravity in outer space. Yeah, well, that's a problem, right? We're used to the Earth's rotation, and that's how we format all of our movements based off of this rotation. So our bodies are rotating internally against the Earth's. Very similar that you would see in a hurricane or a tornado, right? It's oppositional movements with rotation. But again, that's a weather system. We're talking about living beings. If you look at a slow-mo video of a pea plant being born from a seedling, you will see the organizations of rotation. We don't see these rotations with our human eyes because I'm in a sense rotating, you're rotating, and it creates, that we're being stable in a sense. But also we do it through all of our movements. And when we start to fail, age, whatever you want to call it, or a stroke, Parkinson's, MS, again, the common denominator is the lack of us to be able to respond with rotational movements, and our systems start to fail. And then we start to, again, succumb to gravity. So that interaction on not only how our brain formats, but our body formats within this, what keeps us to have a structured system, a skeletal muscular system. People think that muscles make a movement. Muscles respond to movement. They don't create a movement, right? But your skeletal system is there to respond in the counter. We start off with weight transfer, then we go into load lifts. There's lots of things that go on, but my new group is Gravity and Movement. My new book is You Can't Get to Mars Without Me, The Rules of Gravity. We're taking pre-orders, but they'll probably be shipping, or they will be shipping, let's say, by January 4th of the new year, 2021. There's my podcast. There's lots you can get to. You Can't Do This Without Me is a website, because my next book is going to be You Can't Travel the Universe Without Me, but right now You Can't Get to Mars Without Me. Thanks so much. Please subscribe as always. There's a lot to learn through Movement Lesson because it's about a lesson in movement. Thanks.